Hello Sharks, my name is Anthony Cerna, and today we have Eddie as our designer, we have Stephanie as our financial advisor, and then we have Adam as our head of marketing. And our product is called Reeech. Reeech is essentially a snake bot with a claw on it that can get into emergency situations. And help evacuate people, just kind of plan out how people can get saved in emergency situations such as earthquakes and coal mine disasters. So what's our ask? Our ask today is $250,000 for whomever invests in it. It basically will be for expansion and inventory, because we need more inventory. So this is kind of, we have an animation that will kind of go over how it moves, but this is initially one of our designs that we modeled our snake bot after. So Reeech is a multi-purpose device that it can reach into small areas, that has a claw, a microphone, and a speaker that can help basically talk to the end user and see how they're doing in certain times of crisis. So this is an image of it going into a cave. It's initially a reconnaissance spot that can help, like I said before, it can help plan and help people get out of dangerous situations in caves, and can help send stuff to and from. So it can basically see how they're doing, see what condition they're in, so we can let their families know how they're actually doing. And like I said, the microphone, or it has a microphone and a speaker on it. So basically, it can talk to the end user, communicate with them, see what they need, if they need water, if they need clothes, anything like that. And Eddie will go over some of the mechanics with you.
Alright, so the mechanics of it, I'd like all y'all to use your imagination since we don't have a prototype as of right now. So basically, if you guys don't know what a snake bot is, we have a GIF of it right here. Not yet, right? But can you play the GIF?
Yeah.
This is just a demonstration of how a snake bot works. It's pretty similar to our product, but the one difference that comes into it is that the head has a claw feature on it to be able to grab pins, and also it has a camera installed in it, so you can see and maneuver the robot. Unfortunately, our GIF is not working right now, but hopefully your imagination gets there. We created a website for it in terms of any concerns that comes with the product, warranty. Also, how-to videos and tutorials for people that really don't know how to, are not technology, wise, So we have a website. Can you access the website?
I'll pop the website up
I want to show you guys the website. Sorry, I'm slow.
Eddie, would you like to demonstrate?
Yes, I would like to demonstrate. Again, imagination. This is just a little.
Imagine you do some reconnaissance within, let's say, a collapsed sewer or something. So you drill a hole into the ground, and just have our snake bot do reconnaissance. Now imagine if someone was stuck down there. Oh, I need help! Oh, you have some water? Our snake bot can easily crawl back out, get water, of course with commands from, it's from the person operating it, and give them whatever supplies they need, depending on what they need, and crawl back out.
Now, I did not really describe how the snake bot or our product is made out of. It's made out of aluminum. It's made out of also wool, and also it has some water-proof properties to it. It also has 18 batteries installed all over. It's 15 feet in length, and it has about 3,000 mAh batteries installed. So this should give it a long-lasting battery lifespan. My estimate is usually from 8 to 10 hours, so it should last you quite a while in terms of emergency situations. It also has a Bluetooth device installed in it that will connect to our app, so you can control it from your phone or tablet. It also has a nano sound technology installed into it, and like Anthony said earlier, you could voice command to it, and it's gonna respond to it. So this is just a general app mockup I created. It's not the greatest. I should have asked Rook for help with that. But Usually, our main goal was to make it user-friendly and really simple. So next slide will show you the user interface of it. So this generally will be the movements of the snakebot. You could connect with it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. You could also see your surroundings using the camera. As you can tell, it's not connected to the Reeech device, but if it did, you would be able to see where the robot is and how to control and how to maneuver it.
Okay, so this is our financial plan here. So it takes with $593.32. The company, that's how much we're investing per product, and to sell for our Windows tablet application, it costs $30,000 to produce. To store and ship, we will be using fulfillment by Amazon, and it will be $6 per unit. Product sells for roughly $3,199.99. Okay, and then this is just like some numbers regarding parts and costs. As you saw, our product is it's a robotic snake. So there's a lot of parts that go into it, and these are just some numbers. So like for the Atomic Market HC-06, that's a Bluetooth chip, it's $899, and so on. We also have like the processor 3282. These are just numbers. And then these are the numbers that go into our manufacturing, the app development, storage costs, and distribution. So for manufacturing, it'll be $140,000. And for the app development, it'll be roughly $30,000. For storage costs, it'll be $48,000. And then for the distribution, $12,000. And then here's where we're starting. So this is a profit before and after investment, and I say that because we've already sold 200 units. So this is where we're starting, and if we were to get an investment, this is what we would make off of your investment. Okay, so given the initial $250,000, we're able to make roughly $7,053 total. Each Reeech unit is sold, like I said, for $3,200, and it's a total units of 235.
All right, so for our market analysis, our target audience was essentially HVAC teams, emergency services in general. We've sticking to the scope of the United States, specifically to Washington State so far, just for now at least. And yeah, and so far our only sales tactic has been just straight up outside sales. So what I've personally been doing is I've been doing lunch and learns with multiple departments from Snohomish, Seattle to Tacoma, and just really selling our products. Because as she said earlier, we managed to sell 235 products last year, grossing roughly a little over $750K in profit. And that's essentially what our targeted market. But our plans for this device and our company does not just start there. Because our real goal and vision is to save lives. With an increased budget, we can easily invest with the profit we gain from the 235 units we sold. We can easily hire a marketing agency to handle the in-depth marketing strategies when it comes to like international sales and whatnot. Because if we're let's say sell in Asia, you know, personally I don't know like any Asian languages, so I wouldn't be able to like translate. But we can hire translators and whatnot, and even already expand to countries that speak English at first at least. So like the United Kingdom, Australia, and Germany, and Sweden. And with the funding that we've gained, we're also going to expand to operating systems such as iOS and Android. And of course, with the future of our company, where we see our company going, is eventually investing into nanobots. So what a nanobot is like a microscopic robot, like let's say similar to our robot, except like same materials more or less, but able to really just like crawl through the cracks, even better than what our robot could do. Just imagine if we had that kind of technology when those kids in Thailand got stuck in that cave. You could easily just send those nanobots through the tunnels of that 2 miles and whatnot, and communicate with them. We wouldn't have to lose like the lives of many people, because I believe like at least one Navy or former Navy SEAL died there. And this is just gross numbers of your return on investment. As I said earlier, we essentially took out a loan for $250K, and the profit was roughly $750K, so like more or less 3 times overhead costs. And our asking price again was $250K. With $250K, we can create about 418 Reeech units. And given that we will sell those units, given the money, we would make a profit of $1.3 million, and you would get 30% of that profit, which is roughly about $390K. These are just the reference for product prices. Back to the John lesson.
That's very interesting. Curious, where did you get the inspiration for this?
Oh, well, I like to look at animals at the zoo a lot, and I just saw the movements of the snake, and I just found it really interesting, and I did even more research online at least, and I found that there were already snake bots created from this guy. He's an older engineer, but it was made like back in 06. So we based it off like a lot of their technology, snakerobots.com, if you ever want to check it out. And based on this 06 technology, we made like 7 different models. We based it on his 5th prototype because that was like the most complete one. And but his prototype was like radio controlled, didn't have a camera, it was just basic, and he just did it for a hobby. So that's where we got the inspiration from.
How many, so you said 16 feet long, how wide is it?
About the width of your average car.
So it can hold maybe 1 water bottle?
No, it has a claw at the end.
Imagine a boa constrictor, so I can't like gross legs, and they just like very wide, like thick and fat, Like able to, it's able to carry like
What's the size of my
But it's
supplies.
delivering emergency
Yeah.
supplies. How, if it's only even this wide, how many supplies can it really carry?
The arms are like they're able to expand. Where's the model?
Right.
Model over here.
So
Just imagine that.
imagine that's about larger
Much more larger
and wider.
Does that limit its mobility if you're trying to get through a cave?
Well,
Able
like
to-
this, it's retractable,
Yeah.
so it goes in like that.
It's able to adapt in like multiple situations. So like the mobility perhaps would be an issue if like something unknown happened. Let's say rocks fall. Then it'd be over that bot probably.
How often do rocks fall?
Often the rocks fall.
Yeah.
Shoot, the probability of a rock actually falling, I'm actually not 100% sure because every given situation is different.
But
I'm going to build on yours. So, thinking about part of what I was interested, your growth over time, kind of what was driving that. And so I think about your question about like how often does a rock fall, like natural disasters, emergencies, evac situations, right? I'm curious, I didn't see any data for how you're making the assumption that people would invest in this based on how often we see a hurricane or how often we see a line collapse. And so what I would challenge you to think about is if that's going to be the domain that you play in, is to have some data around, we know every year that about 3 hurricanes happen a season. We know historically over the past, let's say 5 years, because you want 5 points, that we've seen, 4 mine collapses. And because it may help you to think about, like, do we market around this versus this? If we're not seeing students get trapped in a cave very often, is that a great way to market our product? And I didn't see any of that data.
When emergencies happen, like you said, they don't happen often. But when they do happen, like the best thing you can do to like really remedy that situation would be prepared. Because you can never predict when an emergency would happen. And like when they do happen, they usually happen like in a really, really bad way. And like you see that like often the situation is like they're not prepared for. Like those kids who got stuck in a Thai cave, like they're stuck in it for like over 2 months. And
But I'm wondering, have you been in an emergency situation before, like a natural disaster of magnitude?
show of hands, who's been in an emergency situation?
So I'm just wondering if the type of emergency warrants different type of technology. So having been in a major earthquake in the Bay Area where things collapsed and you could not get in a device like that, is there a different kind of technology that could still be useful that maybe can't crawl into spaces, but you could use it for, could it have multi-purposes versus I have to physically deliver something to you? Can you expand the scope of like what or reach of what your product can do? It's limited to one thing right now, which is I can attach something on the end and deliver it. But if the emergency doesn't warrant that, or I can't deliver something to you, does my product have value?
To answer your question, we have the nanotechnology sound installed in this product, right? So basically, our initial idea is that it provides assistance to people in need in difficult situations, right? But also, it also detects when there's people around as well. So then you can, let's say, for instance, there's an individual stuck in like a pile of rocks, and let's say the robot was on top of the rocks. The person in the pile of rocks can voice command this, and this in return can get more assistance for the person stuck there.
But get assistance from who? Like, who's on the other end of the snake?
The person operating the actual app.
Yes.
And so why would the snake need to go get assistance if the assistance is already controlling the snake?
Because the person controlling it, the person controlling cannot get there initially. That's why they send the snake, and the snake cannot get to the piles, so it needs more assistance to get to the piles.
So initially, it mainly helps to actually locate them, because in those type of situations, they don't actually know exactly where they're at. So it's actually able to actually find them.
Like the main purpose of our product is not necessarily just to deliver supplies, but it's to provide as reconnaissance. So for emergency services could further strategize, better ways to save people.
So if it's not a flat surface, because if this is biomimicking and it's a snake on a flat surface, when I think of pile of rocks, that's a really rugged terrain. Do these have the ability to like climb up piles and down piles, around piles, or are they only meant to go forward because snakes can't go backwards and it takes them a long time to actually move sideways? And so I'm curious how this operates in different contexts is question one. The second question, you jumped from Washington State to an international market, and I'm just curious what happens to kind of the next phase of Washington State to maybe a region, to a country, to then an international scale.
I'll answer your second question. So for now, of course, we just stayed in Washington State, right? That's the scope of our brand. I want to expand more to the United States and expand further to globally. But you can only sell these snake bots for so long, because as technology changes, we constantly be making more and more different types of our product. As I mentioned before, the nanobots, because we're not just going to stick just to snake bots. Like our vision is much bigger than that. We can, like, the nanobots could easily counter the situations that you were talking about with the collapsed rocks. They can easily just float, not even float, they just crawl through, depending on the mechanics of that nanobot. So they can with their camera and whatnot, float through that, crawl through those rocks and just communicate with them, so people can strategize. That's essentially what the scope of my vision is.
And I'm just a little confused. It's for emergencies, and we have a hurricane. How are we connecting to the Wi-Fi to connect to the
It's
snake?
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
And Wi-Fi?
Yes.
So because Bluetooth has its own independent network.
So okay. What do you think
Make some offers.
on that?
And we're not.
Well, it's a really cool idea. If you were pitching the nanobots, I'd be all in, but you're not. For that reason, I'm not.
Tough shark over here.
Well, I can appreciate where you were coming from, especially as I think about global warming, having been in an earthquake. I think about it's great that you're targeting fire, emergency that, but I think about the common people who, is there a way that we could actually do this on a scale where families can have this in their emergency kits versus having to wait for evac teams to come in? I think there's a lot of data missing. I think I'm not quite sold on the usage beyond kind of one use, and so I think for that reason that you need to actually go back to the drawing board and maybe flesh this out a little bit more and then come back, and I'd be interested in your plan.
So they sent my number $50K, but for a 35% stake because I have prior experience as an EMT, so I provide that consultation.
I'll take it. Look forward to the nanobots.
All right.
Thank you as an
Thank you for
investor.
doing business.
Thank you back, you know.